page 3 in the third paragraph down, Mr. Eckert said the University Mall did not request a South Burlington cop, but that the city provided the cop free of charge to the mall. It was probably inaudible, the rest of what he said, but then it says Mr. Eckert and it doesn't finish the sentence.
Oh, let me take a look at that.
I'll put a question mark there.
Did you do that, Rod?
Circle it. Okay.
I probably walked away from the machine and came back and then finished the thought.
I think Fred Michelle spelled his name different. Yeah.
I took the common spelling.
Yeah. Are there any others?
On page 10, under the street changes,
Okay.
was it Davis Drive that we were going to change to Russell Lane, or was it? It was.
Well, that was one of the proposals, but it didn't seem like you guys focused on it as a name, so I left it off.
Oh, okay, because I thought that was a definite.
I thought so too.
It can be, if you want. But when we get to that, we got some new words.
Okay.
But,
We've got a list tonight we have to approve, or I guess approve either way.
you might wait because we've got a couple new ones now.
Okay.
That was all I had.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
John? Billy got any?
No,
I move to
those
accept.
are quite the minutes.
Aren't they?
Huh? Yeah,
Those
they
quite
sure
the
are.
minutes.
Like
It's a book.
It's like a transcript.
Good
We had
job.
a long meeting, yeah. Okay, a motion to approve?
Yeah,
So
I made a
moved.
motion.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed.
Now which one?
Okay, we've got two other sets of minutes. They're small sets regarding the purchase of the town truck. Those meetings were attended by Bill, John, and myself, and they are official minutes of the meeting. What's the pleasure of the board
I
on
move
those?
to accept the one to rescind.
Motion to accept the minutes where we rescinded our first action,
I'll second it.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Passed.
And the other
I'll move that we accept the
What?
5-7.
Would be 5-7.
5-7 minutes.
one. I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on those minutes. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
John?
Yeah, aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion is passed as well.
Yeah, this one.
Mr. Slim Jim. Okay, the minutes are done. And the orders are almost all signed, so we'll move on. Yes.
Before you get into questions on the floor, can we jump down to recreational area development area? This gentleman behind me came in with his bid for the tennis court from New Hampshire right at 25 after 4. And had stayed around and ate and would like to go back.
Oh.
An
An
hour
answer?
trip.
We put out bids for the tennis courts. The problem was I didn't know enough about tennis courts and the way they were supposed to be done and stuff. I didn't know what the specs were supposed to be on them. All we wanted it was the cracks filled and resurfacing. We would have had a lot more bids, I believe, if I could have had some kind of specs, but we didn't have any kind of specs. I did get 3 bids. A lot of people that did call just didn't want to come over and look at it. So you know, they're from out of state and stuff. They just didn't want to come over. So the 3 bids I got was from Vermont Tennis Courts of Vermont for $3,559. Advantage Tennis in Vermont here for $2,888. And Asphalt Maintenance from Westmoreland, New Hampshire for $3,789.
3 bids. And one of those his bid?
Yeah. Can we see copies of those, Larry?
I don't have, I just opened them.
We can get you copies and shoot that.
I just opened these just now.
But pictures of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, would you please?
Thanks, Deb.
How much of the,
Just the first page?
just the spec?
Yeah,
or the
just
spec?
the- Has everything been bid pretty much even? I mean, they all bid the same thing?
Same word?
Are they all
I
offering
just opened them up and looked at the prices. I haven't even had a chance to even
So
read
you don't know
down.
if they're offering to do the same,
Well,
you're assuming?
I don't even know that, to tell you the truth. I just opened them. So I haven't had a chance to read them. I couldn't open them until the meeting tonight.
Well, Larry probably doesn't know much about it, and I know nothing
No,
about it,
me
so.
neither. Is this something that's gotta be done for 2 weeks?
Pardon?
Is this something that's gotta be done tonight for sure?
No,
Okay.
no. Not a big rush.
I was gonna say, I mean, it takes a little while to review them, and if we sit here and pick them over tonight, we're gonna,
They were supposed to be read tonight at the meeting, and they wanted them open at the meeting, so I didn't have a chance to read them over.
do you want a bid award tonight at this meeting?
No. If I get a company that I don't know, I'd like to go back and get references on this company before I award them anything. There's a lot of companies I'm dealing with I've never done business with before.
You don't have to take action.
Yeah, I'd suggest that maybe you take it back to the commission. You guys are gonna be getting together in the next week or two? Go over it and then make a recommendation.
Review the bids, make sure the work is all equal.
Yeah.
Well,
May have to
material-
make a few
materials,
phone
You
calls.
know, the other question just because he's the lowest bidder, do I have to take him? I'd like to investigate, I'd like to see what they've done for work before they come to work for us.
Well, check that out and let us know.
You know. Well, they were supposed to be open tonight, so I opened them tonight.
Okay.
Here we are.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good job.
While you're on the floor, we have a letter before us from Sharon Russell asking to be appointed to the commission.
Yes, you do.
From what I understand, she's the only person that's, we advertised.
No, there was a couple people, and through the committee and stuff, we went with her. Simply because we're behind this year. She's experienced. She wants to come back, and we need the help now. Somebody that knows what's going on.
Okay.
Who were the other people, Larry, that submitted?
Mo for that.
Mo did?
Mo did, and somebody, I don't even know who the other guy was. I don't remember. An older gentleman.
Stevens?
Pardon?
Stevens?
No, doesn't sound familiar. So we reviewed the letters, and some of the members knew some of these people, and they voted to go with Sharon.
Okay.
They recommended Sharon, and I do highly myself. I worked with her before, and she did a hell of a job for us.
It's a pleasure to board. The short one member.
Well, what's the custom then?
Guess what they're doing? They,
Yeah, but doesn't the board conduct interviews, or?
not in this particular case, because of the workload that's involved, they deal with it more than we do. They physically have a workload to do.
What we've started doing is the rec commission, talking with people and stuff, and figuring out which person we felt, could get along and had the experience in different areas. Some of the problems we've run into in the past have been...
I certainly don't have any problem with the recommendation made by the commission. What I'm saying is that my experience on the board previously has been that, you know, the board has always taken recommendations and then conducted their own interviews, and, you know, hasn't that, I mean, that's the way it's worked with the planning commission and, you know, other bodies that I've been familiar with.
What do you wanna do?
I just don't want to, you know, start something new that, you know, that's, if we've been accustomed to doing it one way and we have
I
a
wasn't
policy
interviewed
of-
though.
Huh?
I wasn't interviewed with this board.
I was.
Were you?
Several times. Numerous times. I've been
Well,
in.
my biggest problem now is time.
Huh?
My biggest problem right now is time.
We've
I
had
mean,
school board positions that have had to been filled.
Yeah, but I am busy right now.
Yeah.
I am super busy up there. And I would appreciate if you guys could do something tonight. I need help. I've been short for,
It's up to the board. I
couple
mean, I don't have
months.
any problem. I mean, you got someone that's been on there before. Now this is a labor-intensive job. These people just don't go
This
to
is getting
meetings.
ridiculous.
You go up there and you physically work. And this is the time of year when the workload is the greatest. All the prep time, getting the pool open, getting the fields in order, teams organized, making sure the place is secure, clean up, etc.
Sharon did a super job, and if you feel we should do it tonight, I have no objections to putting Sharon on, because she has been there before, she's ready to go to work. She
I
knows-
certainly think
knows the thing.
Sharon's
I would certainly think we did that the others would stay on the list, just to honor the 2 men or something. What were you gonna say, Bill?
So, you know, I certainly
Yeah.
support Sharon.
100%.
She,
Yeah, I know.
you know, she's a good gal and everything. I mean, I just, you know, if we're gonna have policies, then we should adhere to them. If we're not, then that's another matter. But,
I don't think with the last openings on rec that they were interviewed. I think they were only interviewed by the rec commission themselves and then recommended and approved by the board.
Yeah,
now what I'm saying is.
No, I
know
understand what you're saying.
2 or 3 other
Yeah.
interviews that have taken place for the planning commission, and they certainly have just as vigorous workload as the rec department does, and they've always had to wait until there was an interview conducted by the Board of Selectmen. But I think out of courtesy to the other applicants, we should at least know their names. And, you know, I mean, I guess the board can do what it wants, but I think out of fairness to the other applicants, it would certainly at least show some respect to at least adhere to the policy that's been practiced in the past. But if that hasn't been the policy with the rec commission, I don't care.
Not to my recollection. Not to my recollection at all.
I don't think with the last 2
Quite a few
appointments to the rec commission that it was.
Because, you know, they were taking a position that they weren't looking for somebody just to come to meetings, because meetings could be convenient after dinner at night. But they were looking for somebody that could be there on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you know, any other day they're available to physically rake and shovel and whatever else needs to be done. And,
Yeah, that's getting harder. People
Yeah.
just can't make it on the weekends. Bill, you were there last weekend, and it was just myself.
And you're doing a great job,
Yeah, well,
all alone.
you know, it's getting.
Nah, you had your hired help with you,
Who's that?
Jason.
Oh, yeah. Jason.
So what do you want to do? Let's move on. We either do it or we don't.
Well, I think since the last 2 appointments have not been interviewed by the board, that we should appoint somebody. I mean, Dell is right in saying that recreation has grown to the magnitude where it's extremely difficult to get. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work that has to have been done yesterday. We're way behind because of the rains, and the school year is changing because they're going to be going to school longer, so we're trying to cram a lot of things in, and it's just a real busy time of the year for rec.
Okay. Sharon's been on before, they're in that position, they have done that before. I know she can go right in there and start working. I'll move that we put Sharon on.
A second.
Okay, motion and second to
I'd
appoint.
just like to say that I know Mo you just mentioned, I didn't have any idea he was on for this, but he's a good fellow, and I really
Good
think he
fellow,
should stay
yeah.
on the list.
Mo's coaching this year, isn't he?
Is he really? Yeah,
No.
I should, no.
He's assistant coaching.
He might be.
And I have no idea who the other fellow is. Nobody does, I guess. But she looks like, because of past experience, a runner-up anyway, and you know, and
She
for
chaired
the
that.
time and all.
She chaired that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she
chairman
chaired.
before,
And she's experienced.
Yeah.
She knows what's
Yeah.
got to be done.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. Anything else, Del?
That's it for me.
Okay.
Unless
Get
you
back
got
to
any
us next
questions.
meeting on the tennis
Yeah,
court
where are the keys?
resurfacing.
Pardon?
Nothing.
I've already been through that. That's it.
That's it for me, too.
Okay. Questions from the floor? Anyone that isn't on the agenda that wants to raise a question?
I'd just like to ask the board why something can't be done about that monument, just simply cleaning it.
It's being done.
Just being done?
It's being done, yes. We just,
No, he's talking about.
No,
oh, you're talking about this one out here?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you meant the one up to the pool.
maybe. I
I'm
just
sorry.
didn't notice it. Notice, it looked worse than ever. Well, anyway, a simple cleaning and just refurbishing the damn thing, like the people voted to do that. Not to replace it, refurbishing and cleaning it is part of it. It only costs about $500, I guarantee, at the most. Bring those letters back out, get them highlighted, and sand the darn thing just to make it look sparkly new again. Before you decide with all these names, they're going to take from here to eternity to get the rubber cut and design, to know how you're going to place them on that thing. Next thing you know, you're going to be up to $10,000 when all I wanted originally was $350.
You're not going to get it done for that job.
Just to clean it. Well, let's try. Have we tried? I don't mean fooling with the letters. I mean just.
Wrote the letter?
I mean just bringing them out for now. You know. Just bringing them out for now. Highlighting the letters.
Huh?
You gotta redo them.
Yeah, they're saying you gotta be all redone. I tell you, you know, the question came up about adding more veterans from the Korean, Vietnam, and the Desert Storm. So that's what we're doing right now. It went out to the mailing. We got 15 replies, and I can't go out to bid until I can tell the guy cut so many more letters on the back side. So, and I put a deadline of June 14th to get the response back. But
Well, I don't understand why we can't do what Charlie's,
All I want
Charlie's
is to get the
suggesting
thing
is
cleaned
to-
up like you would any stone in a cemetery. Just get the stuff there and clean it up, sand it down. I don't mean a major project. I mean just a simple, whatever the guy gets for it, 250, 300. That's all I'm saying. I know Dick, someone will do it for that.
I think
I'm not talking about getting an air hammer and getting down deeper in the letters.
okay, but I think as you clean it, you're going to blow off all the...
almost redo
Wow.
letters from scratch in order to bring them. You just can't go in and paint them. It doesn't work that way, from what I understand.
Well,
Some
that's
are
the last
pretty
you'll
well-
hear from me. Believe me.
Well, you know, some are
It's
pretty well
mushroom,
worn
it's
away.
something that's out of control.
What, why can't we get those names that are on there done and the monument cleaned up, and then just add these other names when they come in?
Bill, you've been away a little while. We went out and got a second. What? We went out and got a second price, a budget type figure, for doing all that, cleaning them up, cutting the letters, and that was over 5,000. We put in the ballot item 5,600. Now, what they're going to do is cut the letters and then seal it. There's special sealing and so forth. Then when we came along and said, let's use the backside for additional people, I was going to throw that in on the bid as extra. But if you want to do just what you see out there,
How many bids have you gotten in the $5,000 range?
just one.
One $5,000 bid. What I am suggesting is that we prepare an RFP, to have somebody, if you have to have somebody help you write up the RFP, to clean that monument up and get the letters that are on there refurbished, okay, and get a price on that, and let's get going on that. If you've got you've only got one side left to put names on,
Yeah.
leave that side until you get ready to do it, if that's necessary. And get the other 3 sides done so that it's cleaned up. I mean, here it is, it's Memorial Day, it would have been nice to have it done by now, but...
Cracking that stone, one of the recommendations, you replace the stone.
Let's fix up what
Well,
we have.
yeah, that was a recommendation, but then it was rescinded, as I understand it, because,
I thought we were gonna get a price both ways, refurbishing and cutting
well,
the
then
letters,
let's put it in
putting
the
a new stone in.
RFP, but what I'm
But
saying
people
is,
didn't
let's
vote on
get
new
going
stones,
on
said to
it.
refurbish,
right.
Article 19 in a warning said to refurbish, not replace.
But, I mean, we can get an opinion on that too,
I think you
at the
should.
same time. But, I don't think we should be waiting to get these other names to get it done.
Fine by me.
Put it together and, see what happens, see what gets for bid.
You know enough about the marble business where you could do up the specs for it,
But the
and you know all
specs,
the terminology.
the specs from the budget figure we got from this one fabricator, we got pretty much what they're gonna do, so it's just
Well, what I'm suggesting is
do that.
write it up again, okay, and then send it out to 2 or 3 contractors or 4 contractors, whatever it takes, and see where they come in at.
Okay, but then the additional name would come,
That would come later. I mean, I think that was agreed on when we did it, that was all going to be extra. We had enough money left over.
no, I thought you wanted these initial names in one package.
I think some people said so, but I don't think there was ever any concurrence that had to wait until that happened. That could be a year before
Gee,
you get
why
that
did
all
you
done.
make me go out with a damn mailing? It costs $400 to get 15 people returning this.
I didn't tell you to do a mailing.
Let's look up the minutes. We'll find the
This
minutes.
board did.
Huh?
This board did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't it?
And it's a pain in you know
I
where.
think we left it up to Dick to get it done.
That's,
But what I'm saying is the rest of it can be done while we're compiling the list for the rest of it. You know that's going to be a bear. Why wait until the end of the summer to get it all done? If you can get it done that quick.
Charlie, I think Charlie should be in on this because he said, what did you say the deadline on that was, June 14th?
to get the responses back.
Is that,
Then
would
that's
you
all gonna
object
be
to that, Charlie?
compiled.
He's sent all these letters out to all these people. Now, I know exactly what you're saying. Your first idea was just to clean the monument and do it, right, yeah. But those letters all went out to everybody's had ads in the
Oh, you
paper.
might give it 3 months from now.
No. He said they had to be in by June 14th,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's up to you, because Charlie was chairing this thing, so it's up to you, but
Did
the
you know
letters
you're
went
chairman?
out, and
Well, you,
the letters went out, and we're kind of caught.
Our next meeting is the 14th of June, so
Yeah.
that's something to come in after that.
Well, just as quick as Dick gets, the 14th comes along, he can go out for the bids. He doesn't need us then. He can go out for the bids, you won't need a
14th of
meeting.
June is just the date that they've got to have the letters in by. If the letters aren't all in, you still got investigation that has to be done beyond that point, correct? I mean, the letters you get may say, well, I know Joe Blow was, I think was in town at that time, so you may have to check that out. That may take weeks
No, I
and
think it was the
weeks.
price, I think the price, the difference in the price is where the.
yeah, I was going
See
to
how much
ask,
more they were gonna charge to add, how many more names they had
I
to
was
add.
going to have an alternate. And if the alternate, and adding all these names went over the voted price, then we would
You're not
have
going to do the alternate.
Yeah, we'd have to wait.
Dick, why don't we just do what the voters approve and get it done? Do
Fine.
your alternate. You can get a price per letter, price per name, whatever way you want to do that. But what I'm suggesting is let's get the monument cleaned up. That was approved by the voters,
I know it.
and we should do it.
But the
We can
fly
always-
in the ointment was adding other names.
I realize that, and I think we should add the other names, but don't tie it into this. don't make it contingent on this. That's my opinion.
Want to proceed with the cleaning and restoration of the letters first?
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the cleaning restoration of the lettering on the monument.
Well, in that, are we gonna find out if this monument needs to be replaced or
That
not?
will
If
be
there's-
part of it.
I'm sure you will.
But if it needs to be replaced, what are you gonna do then?
Well, you're
Copper
getting,
and new bolt?
you're getting, yeah, because
It
you're
says
getting
refurbished.
into big stakes. Every
Charlie,
name on there
We
doesn't
can
have
still,
to be.
we can still put it
done
out
over.
to bid and see what the bids come in at.
And,
If the
honestly-
voters approved enough, then we can do it.
You know, I don't think that piece of marble's that bad. I'd like to have that sitting in my front yard. That's a pretty darn good looking piece of marble.
If it was made out of wood, I could offer an opinion.
Isn't it, Charlie? Would you say? I think it's one heck of a good piece of marble. I gotta tell you, you know, Charlie, you talk about
Cleaning and
replacing that with a
restoration
little
of-
flaw in there. It takes a crane to get it out of there, a crane to bring one in, you know, it's, and they've gotta redo every name on
A
it.
lot cheaper lettering if they do it in their shop than it is out here. You know, you're gonna deepen the letters, you're gonna add letters, you're gonna do a lot of work out here, and it's gonna be a lot cheaper. It's gonna cut the price of the lettering down if they put a new block in there, which would be done in their marble shop.
But
You gotta look at it that way too.
But Rod brought up a point when we were discussing this, that, you know, that was a piece of marble, that was what, practically
Got some
donated.
nostalgic
Yeah,
value.
there's
Yeah,
some history with it, and it's been there since 52, I believe.
1952.
44 years.
Well, I think
It'll probably stand another 44.
Let's put Charlie on the committee with Charlie and Dick, and you guys can investigate it and get going on it.
you're all hurt.
Yeah.
Now, we,
I know you
How
got
many
a
more
motion on
committees you wanna
the
put me
We got
on?
enough guys on it, we gotta decide what to do.
Let's take care of the motion on the floor. Do we have a second to that before we
I'll
get?
second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion?
well, we,
Okay, so
we
what,
can do, oh, you got.
No.
Go ahead.
well, that's all right, we're in for discussion, I just soon you get on.
Well,
in on it.
all right, we could, I can jump on that,
Okay.
and then the names can,
Maybe we can get them on by Veterans Day, which would be very appropriate in November.
There you go,
Yeah.
sure. You
Good
can have a
idea.
dedication, rededication ceremony and everything. We might even invite you.
We'll over here.
Are you gonna
So don't
include that
bother,
as one
don't
bid
waste the
then,
postage.
now, or are you gonna
No,
do two
yeah.
separate?
it'll have to be one bid now because the deadline's the 14th, and then by the time I compile the names, get them in order and so forth.
That
it's
would
gonna-
be, that's
Yeah,
a
but
different project.
let me ask
Okay,
you this.
well, this is what she's asking.
Could you get that bid to do what you're gonna do, refurbish it and redo the names on there? And in that bid, ask them how much a letter for any letters added afterward, and then you can count your letters up, you'll know exactly what it's gonna cost you all in that one bid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be the monument plus so much per letter afterward. Isn't that the proper way to do it?
Yeah,
Save
there's gonna be enough names so
Sure.
that it isn't gonna
It'd
be
be
like they
worthwhile
gotta
to
come
come
back
back
and
for
do five letters or
Yeah.
something. I mean, they'll be happy to come back and
I would
and do
suggest
whatever
that,
they gotta do,
to get the
so.
bid and then how much per letter afterward to be added to it. And then you can do it all in one bid that way.
Okay, we all discussed on this now?
Yeah.
I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the
Aye.
motion say aye.
All right?
Any opposed? Motion's passed. Other questions from the floor? Yeah.
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to.
Why don't you introduce yourself, because you've lost how many pounds, and I didn't recognize you. This is our representative.
What are you trying to embarrass a guy or what?
No, he knows where I come from. Doesn't he look different?
How come he's turning red?
He has this effect on me. I don't know what it
You
is.
guys didn't have lunch at the State House this past session.
No, they didn't feed me. I just wanted to just sort of briefly give you a quick rundown. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for your patience. This is my first session in a leadership role in the legislature, and it was very different from my previous experience. It took a great deal of time, more time to get used to than being sort of a member without any other responsibilities. So I really appreciate your patience with that. But I thought, all in all, Rutland Town did pretty well. We were able to get out without a tax sharing plan, which is obviously a good thing for Rutland Town. We balanced the state budget. The budget we passed is $25 million lower than the budget we passed a year ago. We eliminated the deficit. Next budget year will end with a $4 million surplus in the rainy day fund. We raised the minimum wage. We're able to get $11,000 in funding for Fire District Number 5. Hitzel Terrace, which sort of completes the whole scheme of funding for the fire districts. That took some work, but we got that done. And we passed a lot of legislation, I think, in the area of protecting children, particularly the lead paint bill, lead abatement bill, which is a compromise with landlords and the real estate agents and with advocates for children in terms of cleaning up lead paint that's been poisoning kids across the country. Vermont is one of the first states in the nation to actually effectively deal with that in a way that both sides are sort of happy. So I thought, for the most part, we did pretty well. The issue that I think most people I've gotten calls about recently is the current use issue that many people have read about in the paper. According to the Joint Fiscal Office, it's about $3,500 in current use in Rutland Town. The effect on the average house rate of average tax, effectively on a tax of the average of a house of average value in Rutland Town is from $0 to $2. It's a very minimal tax shift, and the only way you'd really see an effect is if you saw a lot of people suddenly put their forest and farmland in the current use program, which I don't think is likely to happen so long as our tax rate stays low. So there's not a huge effect in Rutland Town, the changes in the current use program. I'd be happy to take any questions or comments anyone may have.
That's a closed program now, isn't it, anyway? They're not taking new applications in the youth program, from what I understand.
My understanding of the way the new program works is that there additional farm and forest land can come in to the current use program because it's going to be done on a local level. So additional forest and farmland can come in, but unless you saw a huge influx, that wouldn't already be in the current use program, there won't be a huge change in the tax system. I would have preferred not to have had this done the way it was done. It was added in the conference committee to the budget. So in many ways you had no choice. Some people had no choice but to vote for the budget and thus for the program. But it doesn't have a huge impact on the town. The printouts, most of the printouts in the State House show that the tax
$2 a house is what I saw in the newspaper.
Yeah, that was the newspaper, and I think that came from the tax department. Joint Fiscal's printouts show a zero impact. So I don't know what scales they're using, but
Almost $2,700 additional spread out over the whole town. So.
right. So I think if you use the most conservative estimate, if you had to say that the worst case scenario would be that a house of $122,000 value would see a $2 increase in the tax assessment. But they also say that there's this tax department believes there's $5,000 in current use in Rutland Town, and the Joint Fiscal Office says it's $3,500. So it's, it's not that far apart, but that's the impact of the change.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, tonight's Channel 3 News said there may be a special session to revoke this thing, but the governor's against it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion about that. I think the governor would hesitate to bring the entire legislature back in session. And I think for us, that's probably a good thing because the only real way to do this, except to just get rid of it, is to pass a property tax reform bill. And for us, that's not a good thing because it's likely to be a sharing bill. So I don't think we want a special session. I think we want to hold off, especially since there's not a huge impact. But there is an awful lot of pressure. Listers across the state are going ballistic with the sort of requirements the state has given them in really a week's time to implement.
The problem was years ago instead of putting land in at use value, they put it into fair market value, and they never should have done that.
Right. If they'd started that way, we wouldn't have this trouble today. If you were able to pass a property tax reform plan that cut taxes for residential taxpayers, you could also do this without it being the controversy that you've seen. But my fear is that if we actually had a special session and there was a lot of pressure to do property tax reform, given the makeup of the current legislature, you'd likely get a tax sharing bill, which obviously we would be opposed to.
Other questions for Steve? Thank you.
Just to ask Dick one more thing on that monument thing, 'cause I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. You're going to send out for bids, right? And how many days do you have to give them?
should award it next meeting.
Yeah, we'll award it.
Okay, I think it'll work out fine, because if you put it in with the bid for doing it, plus so much a letter, and by the time your bids come in, you award the bid, by the time they start working on that monument, they'll be able to go right along with those words in, because 14th of June they're gonna be in.
If he's got the names.
Yeah, by the 14th of June, he's gotta have them, that's what it says.
Well, I don't think he will.
Got some
That's
late
the
arrivals,
cutoff,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
So it'll all work out fine, and there won't be any time lapse.
We'll have him here every other week adding names to it.
Just a quick question for Steve. Steve, if you happen to find any money, remind me.
I didn't find any monument money. I tried, and they said you have a choice between a fire district and a monument. Which do you want? So I said, okay, I'll take the fire
Well,
district.
we need water, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. Moving on, any other questions from the floor, by the way? Okay, moving on, health officer, no report. Building inspector, no report. Road commissioner, the highway business, town truck is, having the body, plow frame, et cetera, put on it. We should be getting that back, before the next meeting.
Yeah, Joe, East Mountain View Drive,
Do we all get a ride?
way
in?
down on the end of it. There was a washout there, and some of the blacktop is broken in, it's like a foot drop off. Somebody has stuck a pole in there for this point. But it dropped off a big hole there just before.
You just dropped off a big hole, the camera went up.
Did it blow up?
Other highway
Check my
business, so
pages,
there's a
yeah.
Butterfield Road, we'll save that for a little later. Recreation, Larry's finished. Charlie, planning?
Unless you got questions on the letter the planning commission sent you on the Diamond Run security. You all got copies of that?
Yes, we did.
No comments on that then. I do have some comments on the Butterfield, so I'll wait until later.
Rod, have you heard anything back from Mr. Samanis?
No, I'm just gonna give you the update of what happened after the last meeting. Patty called Charlie and myself. I wasn't available. She did get Charlie. I talked to Charlie before I called Patty and Damien back, and he informed me what exactly they wanted. And Charlie and I discussed it a little bit, and we come to the conclusion that they wanted to submit a compromise plan. There was a procedure within the town developer agreement that they would have to follow to do that. And Charlie says, do you concur if that's what they should do? And I said, yes. And he said, well, I'll call them back. I said, then I won't have to call them. If you call them back and tell them, submit a compromise, we'll look at it. To this date, we haven't received anything. Mark Sperry's been out of town since the day after our last meeting. He's been out west. He's had a graduation to go to, etc. So we haven't had any communication from Mark, written or otherwise, on the issue. So we're just kind of waiting to see who comes first. At this point in time, I expect Sperry to be first responder. Damien did indicate to me during our recess after the meeting we had downstairs that he would be submitting a compromise to us in writing before this meeting tonight. To date, I haven't received anything. So we actually are pretty much where we were at 2 weeks ago.
When will they officially be in violation of
July
1st
1.
of July.
July 1st? So they've got a few weeks here to
Well,
respond.
maybe yes, maybe no, because they haven't put it in writing to the sheriff's department terminating them yet, which they have to do 30 days prior to the contract expiring. So that'd have to be by this Friday. They got to notify him in writing. Otherwise,
So that might be a good sign.
well, when I talked to Patty and Damien, I made it very clear we would be willing to sit down and listen to a compromise, but whatever they put forward, according to the contract, goes to Mark Sperry and us, and it will have a law enforcement capability. Because otherwise, there's no sense of putting a suggestion forward unless it has that capability. And I told both of them that when I called them back, and I told Rod that. So, there's no sense to keep throwing things out there, because this is what the contract calls for. And we're not going to violate our own agreement. We spend
And
enough time.
simply, if he doesn't comply with the contract with Lee Jones and the sheriff's department, he would simply be in a violation of a contract. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have them
Violation
there
of
or
Act
anything.
250
He's
permit.
also a violation of his Act 250 permit.
Right.
If he doesn't adhere to the contract
No, but I'm saying as far as Lee Jones, the only recourse they would have is a civil suit for a violation of the contract. It doesn't
Oh,
necessarily
yes,
mean that he's
on his
going to
side,
have.
no.
Yeah.
Ours
Lee
would have
Jones there.
to, would have to approach it differently, and probably have to sit down with Bill Burke, the environmental board too, to work with him, because it's a twofold thing. And that document was submitted by the developer as part of his package for his permit, under Article 179.
Right.
So it's a twofold thing. If I'd say we give the gentleman hasn't closed the door yet, and we still got the security down there until such time, you know, he can get security out of Middlebury, Burlington, or Bennington, as long as it has law enforcement capability. I don't care where, but that's what we're looking for, and that's what we expect.
I think we are in a position not to take any action
Oh,
until we
definitely.
find out
Right.
whatever's
Definitely
going
till we
on, so.
hear from
don't
the
know what's
developer
going on.
or the contract expires on June 30th, no. Wait and see.
I would like to thank the planning commission though for their, for the document they submitted to us and the position they've taken on this, as fast as they did.
You know, because it's also in there that to be no financial impact for the building or the operation of this complex. That's part of the Act 250. So for them to expect us to respond with our constables, that's considered a financial impact.
Sure is.
So once again, they'd be in violation of their environmental permit. That's about all on that one. The regional commission, I might as well jump right down to that one. I took David's place on the regional issues committee. There was an extensive discussion on the permit for Walmart, whether they should participate under criteria 5, because you have to realize if they don't come up with sufficient parking, that's going to force the cars out on the street to circle and circle and circle, look for parking. So it will have an impact if the city does not come up with sufficient parking.
We have party status there?
Oh, the regional commission does,
Yeah.
but they haven't made a decision whether they're going to, I think they're going to talk to Bill Burke on this. This was just, it never came out of committee, but there was some concerns voiced in committee on criteria 5 if they don't come up with enough parking places for the complex. That's about it for the regional commission. David isn't here for the bypass. You want?
I've got a little
Bill was
report for
there.
Dave on that.
Oh, you got a report on that? So
We talked.
I sat there for, I think it was pretty accurate in the paper. Put it all sugared off at, is they're right back to square one, and they want the power line concept on the first leg, and then they're pushing the second leg up out of the wetlands, so they say, up into Colonial Estates and part of the rec center, and they're blocking off of the entrance to the rec center, so you're going to be not denied access to the rec center. On Colonial Estates, they'll use their water supply. Another corridor they're going to lose their water supply is the 1,100-foot contour, which they just put a lot of money into that, getting that approved on Eastridge Acres. So there were some concerns, and they started to kind of rank these things, which would move the most traffic. They ranked the the westerly as third. I believe it was the 1,100.
Wheelerville was 4.
No. They didn't rank Wheelerville. They've conveniently left it out.
Wheelerville was the last one.
They didn't rank Wheelerville, because that was my question.
Westerly was 3.
1,100
1100
foot
was
was
2,
2,
and
Power line
Power
was
Line
1.
was 1.
And I asked Adele, I says, well, does that mean Wheelerville is number 2? Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't
It
say
didn't have
that.
anything to do with the fact that...
You remember that?
In the order,
He didn't rank it.
Charlie?
Yes.
It wouldn't by any chance happen to be, have any relationship to the order they came in relationship to the cost of building. I noticed that 1 is the cheapest to build, 2 was the next most expensive, 3 was the next most expensive. So is it just circumstance that the one that handled the most traffic was also the cheapest to build, or is that just the way the cards relate?
Well, it's the shortest route. That's why it was the cheapest.
You have to realize,
None of these included
land acquisition.
land acquisitions. So
It
when
is
you
not
start
gonna be the
adding that in,
cheapest
it's
for that.
going to be a lot more expensive to
And
acquire
they all
inside.
include building 4 lanes, even though the price includes building 4 lanes, even though they don't intend to. But according to EIS, they have to price it out for 4-lane road. They did bypass some deer yards in the Wheelerville. They did bypass some wetlands. And where it did go through wetlands, they've got a closed system so you don't get any runoff, no matter what corridor they select. It's a closed system so you don't get any runoff from the road into the wetlands.
That was mainly in the protection area for the city reservoir.
Yeah, and there was also some in the westerly corridor. They
Wellhead,
did
well,
that.
those were in the wellhead protection areas. They would use closed drainage.
But they're back to the power line.
Right where they were in 1984, we started this whole thing.
One of the concerns, and this is my own assessment, Mr. Sternberg brought it up. I think they're beginning to realize what a bypass is going to do to the economic vitality of downtown Rutland. Well, this is the first time it's really come up in the conversation, what it's going to to them.
Few of us have been talking about that for a whole long
That's
time,
right.
that when you lose the traffic,
You're
going
going to lose the business.
You lose some business.
What you don't see, you don't stop for.
Exactly right.
So I think they're taking a closer look. Maybe for $4 million they can do the internal improvements first.
You know, they're talking about going into the most urban
Mm-hmm.
area, and I'm more concerned about the poor people who aren't being affected by it on both sides of that bypass. So it doesn't only destroy the right-of-way for the bypass and those homes in there,
Well,
but think of the homes on both sides of that that
They
are
have
going
a
to live with that
decibel-
forever
They have a
after.
decibel area outside the bypass, and if you fall in that, they consider that they have to take your home
Yeah,
too.
well, providing everybody has a good muffler and doesn't have a vibrating vehicle, that may be all right.
You know, they've
There's
got
always a
it
worse
drawn in
scenario.
the specs. If
No,
you
these are
fall
all
in that
federal,
area,
federal regulations.
federal regulation, if you fall that area, your house is gone. But how many are going to fall in there? They did give us the numbers.
It's
What they're going to
more,
come out
yeah.
with is a errata sheet.
It just seems
Yeah.
to me that this is still enough of Vermont, so there's enough land
Of all
out there,
these
so you don't
numbers.
have to go right through an urban area to put in a new road.
That's what they're doing.
You know, Rod, I was going to ask you, I noticed that you're still on there as one of the,
Beg to receive document.
well, no, you're on as one of the
Advisory
members of the
committee.
committee.
You're on the advisory
And
committee.
if
David's
you
an
don't have any
alternate.
intent of going, I'm pretty concerned about this because as Charlie pointed out earlier, one of the routes goes right through
Colonial Estates.
the
There's
development up there.
Yeah, you can
14
be gone.
houses
I'm
and their
not
water
sure.
supply.
So I get information.
No, it can be anybody.
Yeah, but I mean, it can be anybody as well, but that's the reason I'm there. As chairman of the board, that's why my name is there. But if anybody else wants to be on, they can be added to the list.
No, this is to be on the advisory committee.
Oh.
Okay, you'd have to have Joe send Allison Church a letter saying that I would be taking your place.
It's up to the board.
I was on that there somewhere.
The timetable for this thing, keep your fingers crossed.
Where did I show up on there, Bill? I was supposed to be David's alternate.
Then you're still David's alternate.
Okay.
David's on there,
Yeah.
Charlie's on there, Steve's on there, and Rod's on there.
Can we add another name?
I don't see why not.
Well, wait a minute, I'm still a little bit confused. How come my name's not on there?
I don't know.
It should have been. This board voted that a couple of years ago.
Well, they apparently,
I guess we should put it on there and go back to the minutes. Do you remember when it was, Joe? A couple of years ago.
No, this is an art committee, John. This is the committee they created down at the Holiday Inn. It wouldn't have been done here. Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, that's a possibility. That's a possibility.
thought I had that list
President
right here.
and not the, yeah, that's a
I
possibility.
remember you were there.
Yeah,
You and I went to the meetings down there.
yeah.
Yeah, here's the list.
I'm a little confused on it, so I don't know.
No,
we can-
for the
you
town.
But this
it's
is,
not.
see, you have a voting,
Yeah, yeah.
seat there, so, you know, like I said, I'd like to,
Well, if you can be put on, I don't have any problem with that.
yeah, it'd just be a matter of, Joe just wrote a letter, what, 2 weeks ago? Saying that Rod wanted to continue being on as
We can
an
add- I don't
advisory
mind
board
adding.
member.
Yeah, I don't see why
mind
not.
adding Bill.
They're having that EIS hopefully for public review between 10/30/96 and 12/16/96. And you're only going to have, I believe it's 14 days to review it and then comment on it. And tentatively, the public hearing is scheduled for 11/14/96. That's what they're shooting for. And they're on what they call chapter 4. They've done 1, 2, and 3. David asked for copies of 1, 2, and 3, and the federal guy absolutely refuses to let those out because they're just work copies for their comments. So they're on chapter 4 of the EIS, and hopefully this will be ready late October, early November for review, and a public hearing in December or late November.
They've spent several $1 million over the last 12 years to come right back to the route that they had in 1967.
That we wrote a letter, told them not spending more money on. It was unacceptable.
Yeah.
We wrote that to Secretary of Transportation in 1986.
Well, they haven't come forward and said,
No,
you know,
they
this
just
was
said that will
all they're
move the
doing is rating
most
them at
cars
this
from
point.
point A to point B.
Right.
The smoke is starting to clear a little bit.
Yeah, but now's the time where it's going to be important to, you know, say things.
Could you ask them why they haven't rated Wheelerville at all?
I thought they did.
What's
Charlie
that?
says they didn't
Could
rate.
we ask them why
No.
they didn't rate
Yeah.
Wheelerville at all?
They gave you all the
then he
information.
soft shoed that wasn't really a rating when he did it. Because when he was given this, like he did the Westerly first, it was going to be $105.3 million, and it was third most effective for moving traffic. Okay, going to take 41 acres of a deer yard, 32 apartments, 28 houses, 2 businesses, and 3 years to build. Okay, and then they jumped to the power line is 51.8 million, and it's going to involve 247 acres of land. Going to lose 46,000 in taxes. 4 farms, 2 neighborhoods are going to be involved, and 12 houses, and of these would be 14 single houses, which would be in colonial estates.
No. Which one's that?
That's
a
the
Western
power line.
Power line.
That was the other leg of the power line.
Power line has nothing to do with colonial estates.
The last leg of it does. It's going to go. It's going to go all through.
Countryside estates.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to take 2.5 years to build, and it's first most effective. Then you jump to 1,100-foot contour.
Wheelerville.
321 acres involved, 4 years to build, 64.2 million. Fourth most effective. $74,000 lost in taxes, 7 houses lost, farms lost, 5 acres of wetland are going to go. At this access will take part of Northwood Park on the 1,100-foot contour.
1,100 and the power line.
No, power line doesn't touch Northwood. It comes in
No, it
below.
does. It does.
No, they
So,
put- they
lower
moved it up.
Ballfield.
They've
Oh,
moved that other
yeah.
quadrant up.
Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
it's one of David's-
Wheelerville is going to cost $173.8 million to build, 5 years to build. Going to involve 543 acres of land, $83,000 in taxes lost. Where? I can't believe that. 14 houses on Route 4, 53 acres of deer yard habitat, only 1 acre of wetlands. But they didn't rank it.
Where did
Then-
they change that to involve 14 houses on the
I
Wheelerville?
don't know either. Unless it's
There
at
wasn't one
It
home
might be
on that
going
Wheelerville
south of Ball
route
Mountain,
involved.
down through Perkins Lane to south of Ball Mountain. It might involve them at the beginning of it.
Didn't say remove it, involves it.
Yeah,
right?
involve them.
Uh,
So that's when I asked, well, that's the only one that didn't get ranked. Are we to assume that's number 2? They said no. You know, that's just the way it came out. So and the cost is quoted for construction only. Does not include land acquisition, those numbers. And that's for 4 lane, and if they did build one, they're going to build 2 lanes with a 3rd climbing lane. We didn't get a commitment if they're going to buy for 4 yet. But
I think they said the right-of-way acquisition.
all of this is going to be compiled by Allison Church, and it's going to come out to the committee, so I'll have copies. She's going to put an errata sheet of all the information that Dell was pressed for time. He was going quite rapidly, and a lot of people didn't get a lot of this information, so she would compile it and mail it out. That was what she said anyway, because Bob Weeks requested it. He's on the State Transportation Committee, I believe, too. So that takes pretty much up to date on the bypass, or back to square one.
So you don't have a problem if I take your place on the committee?
No, I'd like to stay, but I'd like to have you add it.
Well, what I thought I'd do is I'd write and ask that Bill be added, and if we can't, then
Yeah,
ask it.
yeah,
to be
that's
able
what
I
to-
don't think she's going to
acceptable.
add.
I think she
Well, I'll
will.
ask first and see what happens.
We're directly involved, no matter which quarter they
Should I
take.
try to get you added?
More than
She can
anybody.
try,
Yeah.
but I talked to her at that meeting, and she indicated that we had, 4 representatives?
No,
from
David's an
town.
alternate.
Not according to her.
Yeah, that's according to, well, it has been right along. A couple of meetings, you didn't even sit up front. he did this time, but a couple meetings he was back and he was an alternate. But it isn't on this list. They've got him as one of the project advisory committee members. Dickinson, Steve Howard, Brothers, and Gallipo. That's the 4 people from the town.
Yeah.
1 representative, 1 legislative, 1 planning, and 1 member at large. That's the way it was set up. But I wouldn't get all surprised because Clark Jones, he only comes once in a while from Mendon. This is the first time the mayor's been in quite a while. He's so busy.
Well, he's got Tommy Donahue, or not, yeah.
Tom Donahue was there, but Tom is for the regional
No, who's the guy
chamber
in
now.
charge of,
Matt Sternberg.
David
yeah,
O'Brien
he's gonna
couldn't.
be taking his place.
David O'Brien couldn't be there. He was out of town, and so was Tom Donahue. He came in late.
So Matt Sternberg's gonna be taking Jeff's place for the city.
You think so? On that committee?
That's what Allison told me.
Okay. But he's on there with Jeff.
I just think it's
He
important
is
that
on
we
there
have,
with Jeff, you know. Both of them are on this committee. Mayor Wenberg and Matthew Sternberg are both on this committee. So I don't know who's taking his place.
well, we've got the seats, and the important thing is to have people there.
Yep.
Because when they start, you know, taking votes and things like that, it's gonna have some impact.
We left the committee for further study to move that northwest quadrant on the power line, Wheelerville, and 1,100 foot contour. There's no reason they all can't utilize it. The numbers aren't there to justify in the near future of building that quadrant. Yes, they have to plan for it. Why can't they all use the same quadrant and move it back down where we proposed it on the upper side of the power line above the mall, and then come out in Mill Village? There's no houses involved. It'd be on the east side of the power line, hugging the tree line, and come right down there, and there'd be no impact on the humans and their homes. And all 3 quadrant can come down as a dogleg. They already proposed a dogleg for Wheelerville.
This is where this type of persuasion is going to be important, I think.
That was the last thing I left them with.
Have
they
people
look at
there
that.
to discuss this and
See if we can convince them
push that.
that all 3 legs, no matter which one they choose, could use the same quarter. But let's try
That's
to keep
right.
it out of the neighborhoods and water supplies.
I'm gonna tell you, that last Wheelerville route that they had did not show it going through one residence. There was a couple of businesses only that went through and nothing else. So they've shifted. It seems to me like they just want to take some homes out of here.
Well,
Because they've shifted that. There was no residents involved.
What they do, John, is they
None
take a map.
whatsoever.
They take a map with all the environmental sensitive areas on it, and then what they do is they draw the line that way, right? And essentially try to avoid it. It's like, you know, trying to thread a needle, and they thread it down through there. Then they put it on a map with the houses.
Nobody wants to
So-
destroy the environment, but nobody wants to see them destroy
Well,
people's
you know,
homes either.
you're not going to have a wetlands where the houses are, because even if it had been a wetlands, it's no longer designated a wetlands. So that's why it looks on a map. It looks like a good place to put it. So.
Westerly would be just under 8 miles, and it's going to involve 21 new structures. Power line,
That's
that's bridges, culvert, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
That's a,
Power line is just over 8 miles, approximately 25 new structures. 1,100 foot contour is just under 10 miles, 30 new structures, and Wheelerville is just over 13 miles, would involve 51 new structures. Because I think they're zigzagging across the brook intentionally. So that was a synopsis of what was talked about. By having the library, we had to get out of there. It's 5 after 9. We're supposed to get out at 1:15. I don't think that's the best place for it, but it wasn't air conditioned. Very warm in there. We'd have to get out of there by 9. And
there was plenty of room though. I was
yeah,
surprised.
it was hot in there. Number 1, people had to climb the stairs. That's number 2. And number 3, you got to get out of there by 9 o'clock. So if there's questions and people have concerns, they're shut off. Because they have to evacuate the building by 9. So I don't think that's the best place in the world to have it. I think the Holiday Inn works very well.
Yeah.
Gave more room to move around. You could mingle and ask questions better.
Next meeting's when?
They don't have too many.
I thought she
They're gonna
said,
become more frequent now.
August, but I'm not sure.
November.
August? No, I think it's before
No,
November.
there's
Now, according to David, well, at least there's no draft EIS late October, meeting in November. In very short time to
Yeah,
prepare.
but that's after that, but they're gonna have another committee meeting,
Yeah.
I think, sooner than that.
It'll be several months anyway.
Yeah, yeah. There's still, regulatory review is in May and right through July 26th of Chapter 1, 2, and 3. And FHWA is doing Chapter 4 in that same time frame, and it's still passing out for comments. August, they're looking for VAOT comments on that Chapter 4. And the completed draft is they're shooting for the EIS is 9/11/96, but they're always running a couple months behind anyway.
Oh, they're running years behind.
No,
Okay.
we'll let that go.
Others? You did the regional report, right?
So you're gonna let Joe call her and find out what we
Yeah.
can do there?
Timmy's not here. Joe?
Might take up the Butterfield Road.
Sure.
I know Roseanne and her husband are here for that.
Okay.
I had a couple things on that anyways.
Okay.
Just to start off, I've talked with Bill Burke, he's called from Act 250, and you saw the letter in your packet about them, Mr. Butterfield wanting to get money released. Bill would like this board, if possible, to schedule a site visit. I tentatively set up a time for 8:30 on Friday, or whoever would be appropriate.
Okay.
Bill would like to go, so he could, Bill Burke, so he could hear from the board, and I think there'll be some comments tonight, what our position is, so he can go back to his board and then tell them the recommendation whether to release the money or not. And at this point, I know Bill's been up and Charlie was up today taking some measurements and just kind of turn it over to them because I haven't had any involvement beyond that.
That's fine with me. Friday morning at 8:30? Good? Sure.
Is this for the board, or?
Yeah. I think it should be in this particular case, if we can all make it. Whoever can, certainly is welcome, but I would warn it as a board visit because of the sensitivity of this particular road and the problems that we've had in the past dealing with.
Has there been any certification, Joe?
I've talked to no one from the development side. They haven't called, and I haven't called them for any reason. I haven't heard anything from them.
Do we have, I understand we adopted a ordinance
We did, and I
a
gave
year ago?
it to Ralph Michaels, this engineer, pretty much at the height of when this, which
That
is
one of
before this
Marshall's,
all
you
be-
mean? No,
No,
that's a different one, I know.
What Mark Sperry did, before this all became a big issue, and we had a talk, and he said, he looked through it, and said that he could comply with that. Meaning he could certify at the end that it would meet these. He hasn't done that yet, but he had verbally told
Is
me.
there a certification requirement in the ordinance?
Yes, my
for the
understanding
estimate?
is there is. I'll get you a copy of it, you haven't seen it. so.
Yeah, we may want to, prior to the site visit, have Joe contact Ralph and, remind him that a certification is necessary,
Give him a phone tomorrow.
You should be there.
that the road having been constructed in accordance with the plans and specifications as submitted to the planning commission, and that it does fall well within the parameters of the right-of-way
Give him a call
as
tomorrow.
specified on the plans.
It's all spelled out in the, Mark Sperry drew it up last year as a
Okay.
result of some similar situation.
And if you could, give me a copy of that.
Yeah, in fact, do you have your red book?
Is it in there yet, or
If I put the update in there, it's in there now.
when did you do the updates? You just got them, didn't you?
Yeah, I had asked for people to bring them in, but I don't know if yours came in or not.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll give it to you.
Does Crufts have any input? Have anything to say?
We just noticed it was on the agenda, wanted to hear what you had to say.
Okay. Is it,
Yeah, what do you think of it? That's
what
what
do
I
you-
wanted to know, your neighbors,
what's
what do
your
you think
impression
so
of what
far?
you've got there right now?
Better than it was.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the sub-base that they put down in their road, if they would qualify people to do it this time, and it seems to be
Looks like
fine.
it. It
Yeah,
seems
it looks
pretty nice.
good. You know, and from the number of gawkers that we've had up there, it seems to be holding up real well, so. I also don't want them to lose any funds until I'm sure the town I mean, that's my concern. If it's not up to code by the town, you know, then Act 250 is still involved, and the case is still open. Once it's considered closed, you know, I just don't want that to happen if you don't take it over, so.
I know, I'm extremely curious to see what the engineer's certification is gonna entail, and what his opinion of the construction of it is. If that's inadequate, the board does have the option of hiring a contractor to go in and do core samplings to verify any construction specs there, so.
Well, I do want to make up a point that I guess that Mr. Gallipo and Mr. Flory were going to get some site inspections done, as well as Marshall Fish. And I called a number of times during the construction, so I don't feel a core sample, in my opinion, would be necessary to hire another engineer when there's policies in place, you know, and has been. So that is my opinion anyway. You know, I just don't want to make this some type of example, you know, when other roads are still going to be accepted before and after this that might not have the publicity that this got. So.
We will meet there Friday morning, Ms. Mays to make it. And Joe, would you check the certification procedure?
Yep, I'll bring a copy up for
And we'll see what he signs off on.
Is this the first road that's been accepted since the ordinance was adopted?
This would be the first one to come under that policy.
Yeah, under this one.
So this would not be out of the ordinary to.
What's that? Well, it'd be the first one, it's just having to work out that way, as far as I can.
Yeah.
Well, we
There's
also
been other
just,
subdivisions that have come through, but this is the first one that's built the road.
Right, that's what I mean. This is the first road that's been offered for acceptance.
Will be, yeah.
no, I was just gonna tell Bill that we've also, I think it was before Bill came back on the board, we had expressed some concern about roads being approved by Marshall and, you know, no one following up from the board, so we had said that everybody, you know, at least 2 people from this board were gonna go with Marshall to inspect every road before it was accepted in town.
Yeah, we've always done that. That's always been done. That's always been the policy. The problem is that once the pavement's laid down and all the topsoil's laid and all the grass seeds put down, they all look
nice,
beautiful.
but, yeah.
And they look real nice right up until about March.
Yeah.
And then you find out whether the road was constructed properly. I don't think anybody on this board has the time to go up there and ensure that it's constructed properly. This is a responsibility of the developer and the engineer. So that's why a certification is required. And for verification of that certification is to hire somebody to go in and do the core samplings. So it's not out of the ordinary. All it is a verification, the same way we do with septic systems now and other things. So if it was done properly, then it should be accepted, and I don't have a problem with that.
I will say this has been an unusual winter and spring, wet, freezing and unfreezing. I never saw anything really, once you got that first mess straightened out, I never saw any real drop-offs or anything, a sink or anything like that. It stayed pretty firm, it really did, and this was one wicked spring with a lot of rain, which helped it, of course. What's that?
Yeah, they got the roller in there too. Like
Yeah,
they
it stayed pretty
and,
decent.
You know, it was fine as a dirt road from that point.
Yeah, with a lot of rain, nothing really settled, which makes me think that, you know, it's something to keep in mind because we want to be fair with
Well,
them.
yeah, and the other thing I just don't want us to drag on and cost the town more money, for example, when I don't know, I mean, had someone looked at it at the time that they were doing the construction, they would have seen. Plus, there's also contracts. They should have adhered to the contracts that I think we all got. You know, certain sub-base and rolling and all that other stuff, so, I don't know.
We'll be there Friday morning.
I hate to say this, but it doesn't meet the subdivision requirements right today.
No?
No.
You coming?
I can, I was up there today, you know,
When
that first leg of it, at least 50% of it doesn't got any shoulders on it.
Okay. Why don't we,
You know,
meet
and
be
it's gonna
there?
break off on the edges and we're gonna end up fixing it.
No, Now's the time to fix it.
Yeah.
Before he certifies it, so then you don't get
You got a question?
in a big argument on this thing.
Okay, Joe.
Right, I agree with that. If, well, all we're really asking is if you go up Friday morning and you see a problem that would cause the town to say, no thank you, do not allow the funds to be paid until the work is done so that you will accept the road.
Right, because there was a contract.
Right now, we have a string in our pocket not to pay the contractors until the work is done
I think
properly
that's
to
the
your specs.
We have to do
Well,
that.
the contractor's attorney is already writing for release of the funds.
I don't blame
That's what key this meeting.
Like to put this.
He's writing it to the environmental board. They got a copy of that letter that he's looking for the release of funds, and it doesn't meet the standards.
We won't sign
Is it-
off until
well,
we're satisfied.
Yeah, is it the contract's attorney or is it the developer's attorney?
Developer's attorney.
See, they should be there too, in my opinion.
I think
You know,
Ralph
it's-
Michael
it's
should be
still-
there,
Let
definitely.
me call him.
Okay.
He's the one who's gonna have to certify it. And if there's a problem with it,
That's why I'm saying that Joe should contact
should be
him ahead of
definitely
time,
there.
so that there's no surprises.
yeah, I can
and
be
he
there
knows
Friday
what to
morning,
expect.
you know, because,
These people know how to
Size of the
build roads.
cul-de-sac, all right?
yeah,
This isn't something new to them,
Size of the
and they
cul-de-sac,
know what
all
should
right.
be done. They know what the
From the-
slope
from
restrictions
the Y
are.
down, it
They know
looks
what the
nice.
shoulder
They did
restrictions
good.
are and all
From
the
the-
specifications,
from the
so
Y down, it's the front half of it that's bad.
if it doesn't meet that,
That was the
that's
best
their
parcel.
problem.
Yeah, I know, but they just didn't put any shoulders on it.
Okay, we'll be there Friday morning,
8:30,
8:30.
kinda early.
For an old guy
Copy
like
at
you,
the truck
sure.
stop.
Yeah, copy the first gray house on the left.
No, I've been down in 2 or 3 times, and you know, cul-de-sac turned out good. The rest of it turned out good. It's that first half that looks bad, and I don't feel qualified to judge the thickness of that blacktop either. You know, whether it's thick, thin, or in between.
Blacktop there.
Well,
It would
I-
work. That's what
you
tile
know,
was,
how
yeah.
consistent it is, I have no idea. Yeah, of thickness.
We'll check it out the best we can.
Yeah, well, the only way you check that is with a
Core
core
it,
sand.
that's right.
That's right.
Unless you're there when they lay it.
And even when you're there, unless you're there the whole day, 2 days that it took them to lay it,
You ain't gonna know.
and that's not our responsibility.
No, that's the engineer's responsibility.
Okay, Joe, next item.
One of the items, Rob, you have it in your green folder there is an easement
Yep.
between the town of Rutland and Robert Moore that
Right.
dates back to the North End Sewer Project.
Right.
Job is long done. In exchange for that easement, we gave him a free sewer connection, and I would encourage Rod to sign it. Our lawyer drew it up, and
I'll
Mr.
make a motion that
Moore
we sign the agreement.
has approved. And Bob Moore has signed it already.
Yeah, he's already signed it.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, second, to have me sign this easement. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is passed. Okay, Joe.
Second item I had was, it's in your packet, I just refer you to it. It's a letter from U.S. Samica, and I don't think we have much to be concerned here about, but they're asking us to be concerned about their well and their source protection plan.
I'm gonna suggest that we send a copy to the planning commission for their files, so that any future development down there that they may be reviewing, they'll be aware of. You're gonna see a lot more of these. These are wellhead protection.
This is the second one. We got one a few years ago from Galco for their well, and passed it on to the road commissioner because of road cells.
But you're gonna, every water system in the state, or public water system, is
Yeah.
gonna have to have one, so.
If you looked at the map, this is fairly isolated on the other side of the building, but I think that's a good suggestion. We've already taken care of the Butterfield issue there. Again, in your packet, you saw that the city regulations for their water system go into effect June 1st. We have commented on those regulations, and I think what we've asked for is reasonable, and we're waiting to hear back at this point. It has to do with like almost routine maintenance, whether we have to seek all the approvals for items. Plus, I take that back, it would be items that weren't routine maintenance that may come up that would be a hindrance to wait for approval from the city. And we've asked that they create a special process through which the town could ask for access to a water line in a timely fashion.
Hey, Joe, excuse me, just getting back to the wellhead protection plan. Does the regional planning commission receive those?
I don't know if they do or not.
Can you begin a file for those so that we can maybe implement them in the GIS mapping, so that eventually, right now it probably isn't necessary, but eventually it'd be handy for, especially the planning commission, to have these things all mapped out, for reference now. I'm sure the state must be doing something with them, but sometimes you don't have access to those.
Okay, I'll make a note on that. Like I said, we've commented through our attorney, Kevin Brown, and we're waiting to hear on those regulations. I don't think you may have, I did put in your packet a letter from myself to Greg Beldon at Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
Did I include that?
Yeah.
Just so you know what went on there. We did our routine wastewater testing, monitoring sewer water, and we noticed that there was a high percentage of petroleum in the wastewater. And because of that, we did a site investigation and found basically what we hope is just sloppy maintenance inside the building. No, not that one. That was Pete's letter.
Yeah, that's the only one I got.
You didn't get mine?
No.
Okay. Well, I've written to the owner, and I put him on notice that what we did find was apparently some sloppy maintenance where oil and gasoline and other things that had fallen on the floor were mopped up, and the mops were washed in the sink. That's how it's getting into the sewer. So that we've asked them to check their state permits to see if that's allowed, which I don't think it is. We will be back to test them in the future to see if they're complying. Haven't heard from the owner yet, and I didn't send it registered mail, however, maybe I should have, but he hasn't replied to us yet.
It's a new one on South Main Street.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a closed system for draining oil.
Yeah.
You know, it's a closed system.
Good.
As Joe says. He's got some fugitive stuff going in there.
So just make you aware of that. Also, I'd like permission to begin working with Greg Kepler to develop an RFP for recycling and solid waste. As you know,
Absolutely.
one expires next Thursday, or this Thursday, and another one will expire, the recycling one, next month. So with your permission, I'll talk to Greg and get something going on that.
Yeah, sooner the better.
Okay.
Meantime, Elnicky's still servicing our facility.
As far as I know, Tony asked me what he should be doing, and I talked to our attorney, and we felt that he should be talking still to RST. If they want to refer the calls to Casella, we don't have any agreement with Casella. And to make the call ourselves may implicate that we in fact have agreed to some new relationship, and Kevin Brown didn't think we should do that. So at this point, we're still calling RST. I think as a practical matter, they're calling Casella and setting them up, but we're getting the job done.
Okay.
I would like to point out one thing, and we'll have to keep in touch with Dick on this. I did meet with the Casella people right after they acquired the RST company, and they did tell me that at first they weren't going to be paying us for the recyclables that Elnicky's had agreed to pay us. And in fact, last time I checked with Dick, we hadn't got our check from last month from Elnicky's for the recyclables. And I think we need to watch that to see if in fact these people will pay us. I don't think it's a lot of money. It's probably just a few $100s, but they had a reluctance to do that, and I had asked for a letter so I could put it in front of you tonight, but I haven't gotten anything. So they did come to talk to me, so I thought I'd relay that to you. And their position was they wouldn't be paying us that, but they would live up to the rest of the contract. I basically said that, first of all, I didn't ask them to come here. They offered to come over, and that I wasn't implying there was any agreement between the town of Rutland and Casella, but that we expected that the contract with RST to be lived up to. So we need to keep track to see if we get paid.
When's that contract expire?
July, I think.
Well, let me see. I got it here.
The recycling contract, I think
Two different dates.
yeah, I think that might even be July.
Recycling is July 24th, and the solid waste is Thursday. And Bill, I don't know if you're aware, but what we did there with RST is they bid the recycling on a basis where they guaranteed market prices a year ago.
Right.
And they paid us whatever we brought to market. We got a cut of that. I don't know what the proportion was, but we shared in the wealth, if you will, in the recyclable. They were the only ones that bid it that way. And Casella informed me that they would not be continuing that practice, but maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, while you're on the transfer facility, we were going to have that maintenance, the manufacturer of the compactor come up and do the maintenance on
They
it?
did. They were here.
Okay, I thought I wanted to be there when they did it, but...
I missed you on that one. It was one of the days I was up there painting the recycling containers. The guy showed up. And he went through and he was there, got there in the morning, left early afternoon, and told me everything checked out, showed me the punch list of items and went through everything. And quite frankly, didn't mean much to me.
Did he give you a copy?
Yes, I have it in file.
I'll talk to you about that afterwards. Now the concrete pad, have you done anything on that? Or?
No, I'm waiting for direction on that. We've got Greg Kepler's design, but I think the board wanted to do a little more than
What about measures?
You want to do that? So you and I are on.
In fact, you know what happened? We were going to, the way we left it the last meeting, we're going to call RST, so you guys can go up and watch a poll to see where it actually hits. But then you saw in your packet the company has been bought, so I figured, well, we can't call them. So that's why I haven't followed up on that. So we still need to do that, I guess.
Okay. Maybe I'll come in and take a look at the plans, and you and I can get together even some evening or something.
That'll take long just to measure that out. You got a tape, right?
I got one.
I got one. 12-footer?
I got anything right up to 200 feet.
Oh,
Go over 200 feet, I got to start taping them together.
been done.
Okay. Next item I have here, we had a request from a resident on Post Road for a street light at the corner of, well, it's right on Post by Arthur's Auto. They feel there's a need there for a light. Didn't articulate a whole lot, but they felt street light was needed, I guess, for accidents reasons. Next item I have is sort of interesting here. We had talked about ADA inspection a while back, and in fact, they came in and they did do an inspection of the building. And we got a pretty good report overall, I would say, but there are some areas we are deficient. Just off the top of my head, the water cooler needs to be lowered. For instance, this person in a wheelchair couldn't come in at the level of the spout, so it need to be lowered. Also, the mechanism.
Well, you can't even use that type of.
Well, you have to replace the.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. It has to be cut out so the wheelchair can go in. We also got to replace the push-down thing with another.
Right.
Our front door is checked out good. Downstairs is good except for some patching.
Just a little hot mix.
A little ramp down there. I think.
Next time Doc's in, why don't you have him take a look?
Well, in fact, what I'd like to ask is the building committee, whoever that is, if they want to just go over that list with me. I've got a list. I don't need to do it tonight, but for your convenience. The biggest expense, would you agree, is probably the bathrooms. Is it both? Well, I read it quick.
Well,
they
got a suggestion. They're handicapped stall, but not where a wheelchair can turn. They'll show your sketches, and to do that, they're suggesting.
What they're suggesting is rather than put two in, male and female, is to make one unisex bathroom, which is the federal standard, and make that handicap accessible, and go that way.
Female uses the males, supposedly, and just lock the door.
Like if you ever went to the state offices in Waterbury, that's why they got the signs on the door.
Are we in non-compliance on that issue, or?
On these items they pointed out, yes.
Or are they these recommendations? Because I've seen some of these things that,
well, from what I know about the ADA, we'd be in non-compliance, without getting into a big legal.
Because I got to tell you, I mean, this building seems a lot more in compliance than a lot of buildings I've seen.
It's minor. What they've recommended to us is minor, my understanding, just looking at it. So I think there's others out there that are much
The building
more
was, when it was
severe.
rebuilt, it was rebuilt with that in mind. I mean, the building
That was 74, so
yeah.
22 years later, some
the width of the doors were increased, and
more regulations are surfaced.
I mean, this was done. I mean, there are a lot of buildings out there where none of these were ever applied to.
So I don't think it's a bad report. It's pretty good, actually. Those are really the big items. Just the bathroom and the fountain, and just the ramp downstairs, or just a small little ramp to bridge that gap to get in. And I've got a complete report here if anybody wants to look at it.
The drinking fountain, I know that you can purchase, you know, they'll have like the regular one and then a side piece of, with a little bubbler off the side, yeah. That would comply.
On the Cooley lawsuit, if I could, maybe after the meeting, or if we could set something up, Karen, we had talked once. We're looking for some witnesses to give some testimony on the cops. And if we could talk on that, I need to get back to our lawyer. Okay?
Police
Yeah. Also, this just got scheduled today, I wish I'd give you more notice, but the state scheduled a final inspection for the North End Sewer Project for tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I plan to be there. They basically are gonna cover the same items we covered.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Fred
I
Henry
won't
said
be
if you
around.
don't wanna be there, it's not that big a deal. Don Weller needs to complete his paperwork, and so we're gonna walk the job and basically look at all the items that we've discussed with Fred
What
Henry.
time is this, 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock
Where are
at
you meeting?
Lenny's.
How convenient.
Oh, wow.
Is that large bump in the road before you get, before you come into town? You know which one I mean, in the outside lane as you're heading north on 7?
Whereabouts?
Just,
On the moors?
just
Where it
before
no,
lunch.
it's way back. It's before the,
Oh, yeah.
Sure, they were done.
where it almost takes out the front end of your
That's
car.
all city.
Yeah, but we did
No, I
some
realize
work in
it's
there.
the city, but I know
We
that
did
they
work
were
in there, yeah.
working in there.
Where exactly? You know?
Just before, what's the,
The Bell
Jerry's
Center?
Oil.
no,
The woodworking place?
no, the,
Got next?
junkyard.
Oh, Dave Max.
Dave Max.
Yeah.
It's before Max Steel.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's sunk there. The city came back and filled it in.
It
a
sunk
while back.
again.
Yeah, that's on the list. Yeah.
Okay, I just,
They're gonna rip that whole surface off 7, right, and do from the city line south to West Street, from my understanding.
they're
Summer.
supposed to,
I
yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
But that is a pretty bad spot right now.
Technically, that's not part of this job. That was part of the other job. The
Oh,
Cooley
okay.
job is only in the town. Part of the city was the Sunrise construction job.
Okay.
So, well, we answered over that one too, but that's another matter. I've not heard anything back from the school board on the deeding over of this building. Just not a report to you on that.
Oh.
Okay, there's something in their minutes that just came in. They're gonna put it to a vote to the people, so we'll probably see it a ballot item in
Next election.
September or November. Hopefully November.
They're gonna put it on the, they're not gonna put it on the special election ballot?
No, that's long gone.
I don't think you can do that, can you?
The last item I had was follow up on, for Dave Dickinson there. Charlie, you referred to some documents. David has since got the release of those documents, and we should be receiving them shortly.
They did release it.
Yeah, we put a letter into the secretary the next day, and we got it. And he also wanted to confirm that both the power line and the 1100 would hit Northwood Park, which I knew already.
Not only hit it,
Well, take out the ball field, yeah.
take out more than the ball fields.
Yeah.
Well, it's south of the landfill. The old
Yeah, it goes
landfill.
right through the buildings there, the pool and all that.
They said they can move that road, so
Yeah, they said they could
I thought you
go,
were gonna say they
go one
said
way
they
or
could
the
move
other.
the
a
pool.
few hundred feet, so.
So we can sacrifice big bonuses
One
or
of
the city
one of the things
reservoir.
they-
Didn't always wanted to bypass.
They set a closed road for sensitive areas,
Yeah.
but whether it be watershed or wellhead protection. And why can't they put a closed road on the eastern side of the power line through that wetland then? They can do it where they want to.
See, now, if I were on the committee with you, Charlie, I'd bring that up.
I'm going to, don't doubt it. That's why I asked to have them take another look at that next time we meet. Because I think there's some workable solutions in there for all 3 of those corridors to utilize that land down through there. And no houses would be affected.
Well, I might as well jump to the street names if you want.
Yes,
Because I've
let's
got
do
to,
'em,
okay.
please.
Let me get mine up here.
We all got copies.
Yeah, there's been I think your Bill's carrying it right, that was Russell Drive on, where I put down no suggestion, and possibly Countryside. But that's up, I don't know if that was confirmed or not.
Did you say it was again on Russell Drive?
Is that what you had suggested?
That's what I suggested, yeah. Since it used to be the Russells were predominant family up there.
If you want, Rod, I can just go down this list and tell you what some of the new ones that have come in. That would help.
Yeah.
So far, and I sent out 161 letters to everyone who's involved with these streets and all the other streets that aren't listed that used to be on the board. And to date, we've only gotten back a handful of responses, relatively positive, with some suggested changes. Sunset Lane to Victoria Drive, no complaints there. Sunrise Lane to Daybreak Lane, yes. I have heard from some residents there, and they would prefer Morning Glory Lane, or Morning Dew Lane, or Lilac Lane. but they don't like Daybreak Lane, basically because they think people will be confused on the spelling of break. And so they feel that either Morning Glory or Morning Dew or Lilac Lane would be appropriate for them. And I think there's only 4 houses on that street.
Three.
Are they kind of in agreement?
Yes, they are.
There's 3 houses, that's it.
But all
We've
three
got 3
names.
names and 3 houses, so I mean, which is it?
They all agree that these names, we can pick any of those, but they don't like Daybreak Lane. That was John Paul.
So you have Morning.
Morning Glory Lane,
Lilac Lane.
Morning Dew Lane.
I'm not sure we can fit that in our CAD line.
Yeah, it's a long one.
How about lilac?
It's the shortest one. Sounds good too, sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
As long as they get lilac.
that's what they want. I mean,
Get Lilac for all 3 houses.
Yeah, if they're living with it, that's fine with me.
L-I-L-A-C?
That's right. Yeah, I had a look at that.
Lilac Lane?
Okay, Susan Drive to Phillip Terrace, Susan Drive and Phillip Terrace to Colonial Drive.
Longer don't like it.
I've only heard from one gentleman, Mr. Munger, who didn't think Phillip should have to change. I tried to explain to him the rationale behind that, but to date, he was the only one that complained. So I think overall, obviously, like I said, I sent a letter to every household. I haven't heard from anyone else.
I've talked to
Does he live up there?
numerous, yeah.
He does have a mailing address up there.
Does he?
Well, he's got a house there too.
Does he?
But might not next week. I don't know. But no, I've talked to numerous people up there, and everybody thought it was
Appropriate.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a nice,
Meadow Drive to Countryside Drive, no complaints there.
Good.
In fact, there was a positive vote there. I forget the gentleman's name, but he called up and said he liked that and wanted us to stay with that.
Now, we're only talking about that one section where it tees into Davis,
Right, yeah, because if we go with Russell Drive,
Davis
on
will go to
Davis,
Russell.
it takes care of that problem. Now on Davies Circle, I had the spelling of Hawthorne wrong, first of all. It's H-A-W-T-H-O-R-N-E.
Who
and
was
on-
Hawthorne?
Who was?
Yeah.
I think they're referring to the writer, during the Revolutionary colonial time period, something like that. These are the suggestions to date still. Sand Hill Road, Hawthorne Drive, Rosewood Lane, and Dayberry Lane, but they had a different spelling than the way I had it. I have to check, see if they have. And also, none of them like Circle Drive. I think we're over to Circle Drive. So you got Sand Hill Road, Hawthorne Drive, Rosewood Lane, and Dayberry Lane.
Davy Circle's in the Sand Hill area, right?
Yes.
Right.
I think that's appropriate.
Sand Hill Road.
There was some acceptance for that. There wasn't a big problem.
How many houses in there, Bill?
4.
5.
5 is
Well, that's the count on the corner there.
Oh, those
Is
two.
that kind of
Those
like
two
the
on the
popular
corner.
one?
Yeah.
Initially, they wouldn't have a problem with that. Then they called back with these other ones.
The
They
more
said
they thought about it, the more
I
names.
thought the lower one was on East Pittsburgh Road there.
What's that?
So everyone came up with a different lane,
No,
different names,
York
what you're
is-
telling us.
York-
Well, no, they all,
Brooks.
one person called in all 3 of
You
them.
got York,
So-
They said they had gone
Yeah,
and checked
Brooks,
with
yeah.
neighbors.
Oh, yeah, that road is so good.
Yeah, you got
Kane.
Thomas Kane,
Yeah.
Stevens, whoever bought,
Yeah, they
just bought
just sold that.
Stevens' house.
Who else you got?
And then there's, I wanna say Hale, it's not Hale.
Can't think of the name of it.
Horn.
Horn.
That's what called, this is Horn.
What does the board think? We ought to pick one of these years.
I'd say
Hill Road?
Sand Hill.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Okay, we do have a suggestion here. We had no suggestion for Parkway, which is off Post Road.
Right.
A resident called and said Tinnybrook Lane. Tinnybrook is out behind there.
The only one problem you have with that is you got Tinnybrook Market,
Tennybrook Court.
Tinnybrook Court.
But it,
You got a bunch of them.
but they are in the city. I mean, we should be applying this to just in the town, but it's point well taken, I know, but in the town there's no conflicts.
What, is that the first street in off of 4?
No, that's the
Meadowway,
the middle one.
Parkway, and Forest.
The middle one.
Middle way.
Well, Tennybrook's a long ways away. That doesn't cross over till way down below the
Well, right here.
museum.
Now, see, here's Parkway,
goes right-
and there's Tinnybrook. It's over back there.
Only 400 or 500 yards.
Yeah.
Well, you're not, see, this is different Tennybrook than the one you're talking
There's
about.
2 branches. There's
Yeah.
the northern and the southern. There's this one here that comes out
There's a
down
Tennybrook
below, above
that-
you, Charlie.
Right,
And then
which is
there's
right
this
through
one
my
that's...
property. That's
Yeah,
all
and
I
then
say
there's
here.
the
One by
northern
the Rowan
branch.
Mall there.
Yeah, that's the one. Goes right down, crosses under,
All these
down
both
by the museum.
converge behind
here.
Toby Seward's old house.
Yeah, by the mall there, right.
And then,
And the
then
power
go on
line that
through.
they won't build the bypass.
That'd be a better name than Kenny Rock.
Well, that's the only suggestion we've had, so.
From a resident on the street who had talked to a couple neighbors. So, you may not make a decision tonight, because I got a couple new ones you might want to think about.
For Parkway
No,
or for some other
some new ones.
consideration?
Yeah. If we skip over Parkway for
Woods
now.
Lane for Freddie.
Paul Propria.
Huh?
He was the mayor of that area for a
Sure,
long
Woods
time.
Lane or Miles Lane, they're both there. They got the memorial for Miles and Woods for Freddie. His whole family owns nearly every house on that.
But they're not on Parkway.
Yeah.
They're on
Forest
They're
Way.
on Forest
They're on Forest Way.
Yeah, they're on the next one.
Now you could change this to Forest Way and then name that Woods Lane.
Oh, boy.
It's complicated.
If we skip over Parkway for the moment,
How about Timber Lane,
Meadow Way, Timber Lane,
Forest Way?
wouldn't be a conflict.
Seems that there was one up off of East Pittsburgh Road at one time, like
Tamarack Lane.
Tamarack Lane, yeah.
Still there.
And there's one, I guess it's up in Mendon, the guy had a campground up there. Not Ray Hallway, some other guy had a campground, there's Timber Lake Campground or something up in Mendon. Just up above where you're talking.
There's a Timber Lane up in South Burlington, Charlie.
Yeah, I think that's out of
You want to be facetious.
Rapidly on the way far enough. All right, what's the other one you got, Joe?
Well, if we go with Russell Drive or Davis Drive, we're all set there. Now, a letter just came in today, it's addressed to you, Karen, the 911. They reviewed our roads and they came back with some problems, and basically it's 4 roads. The 2 McKinleys and Pinnacle Ridge. They feel that one of the McKinleys should change because they both have the different suffixes, doesn't cut it. They're too similar, and because they're geographically almost attached, they feel that strongly that one of those should change, as well as one of the 2 Pinnacle Ridge, is Pinnacle Ridge Lane and Pinnacle Ridge Road. The only suggestion I have, off the cuff, not to offend too many people there on the McKinleys, because those have been established, would be to call the whole thing McKinley, but change the suffix to something of maybe like McKinley Drive. So that way it's not Avenue or Lane, and it's all, there's still McKinley. It's the only
How about McKinley Road?
That's fine too. You know, because if you went one way or the other, yeah, call the whole thing.
Where are you talking from? Grove Street up?
From
Talking
Route
from
7
to
all the way
top.
up to Vargas,
End of Vargas.
the end of Vargas.
No, but what they're saying we gotta change is from North Grove up.
One or the
to
other.
McKinley.
Yeah,
Right.
we can leave
but-
one, but my suggestion would be to
Oh,
call
I
the whole thing
agree with
McKinley.
that.
Avenue.
Make it all Avenue.
I'll make it all Avenue.
It's not an avenue.
That's what the main portion of it's been there for,
Yeah.
I don't know how many years, and you just keep adding on to the end of it.
Everybody with a name change. If you totally
Everybody's
You pick half
affected
that.
anyway.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter, so.
I would,
Yeah,
I
but
would,
McKinley Avenue, the existing McKinley Avenue folks aren't affected. It's the one on McKinley Lane that would
Right.
be affected.
If you're coming down Grove Street, and you get a call from McKinley Avenue or whatever McKinley you're gonna call it,
which way you gonna
the
go?
guy
go by
Well,
the
you'll know
number.
by the
the
numbers.
guy gonna go to know right or left.
You'll know
You
the
don't know
numbers.
by
You'll
the
know
number.
the numbers.
Where you don't see it right there in the corner. Nothing on either end.
Well, hopefully they'll learn the numbers.
Yeah, just like basically people
Wow,
know on
that's
that
like
road
you
now.
said about the new driveway though.
But that'll happen, John. What about East Pittsford Road? You know, I mean,
Besides that, the way the numbers are gonna go, they're either gonna go from south to north or from east to west. I mean, it's gonna be a
Anybody
designated
who works
area.
with them will become very conversant up in a short time.
And actually, it should be a lot easier for the dispatchers because they ought to be able to tell you. They should have the maps there and can tell you
They'll tell you
direction.
left,
It's
right,
going,
whatever.
I think, going to be a lot better and a lot easier
Yeah,
If you
communication.
know the road's a mile long and the number's 500, it's
I'll
half
go
the
with McKinley Avenue.
McKinley Avenue sounds pretty good, Joe.
Yeah.
How about the Pinnacle Ridge? We've got Pinnacle Ridge Lane, and none of these people have been notified yet. It just came in today. Pinnacle Ridge Lane and Pinnacle Ridge Road. And that's the last conflict outside of Parkway that we need to deal with.
Pinnacle Ridge Road is the first one there.
Yeah, I think it should be.
That's the one
Pinnacle
from
Ridge
Creeds
Road.
to 7. And then they put the one in the development where I live, in Pinnacle Ridge Lane, and I should never been done.
Right?
They are separated, yeah.
So they're separated, and
They
what's
move
this?
over a little
I
bit.
never knew this. When you come off of Grove into that development, what are you on? Is that Pinnacle Ridge too?
Yeah.
And
In other,
then Pinnacle Ridge turns and comes down?
in other words,
Joke that comes down behind.
off the hill. Pinnacle Ridge Lane is the left just before the right-hand turn on the Pinnacle Ridge Drive.
Okay, but does it just go back and stop, or is it continued down the middle?
No, that the cross street is
Wendy Hill.
no.
According to this map right here, according to this
Olds
map,
Drive.
Cross Street is
Olds Drive.
No,
Pinnacle
Old
Ridge
Drive is the
Lane.
furthest one up, but the one
In the middle goes Pinnacle Ridge.
First one,
Pinnacle Ridge
first one
Lane.
in there.
Pamela Lane goes in, turn right, and
think
Pinnacle
you-
Ridge, and come back out. And the last one is
Is Olds,
Olds,
yeah.
and then off of that is
Offshore.
Because
Is
they
Ox Hill.
don't connect directly up, my suggestion, think about it, would be to change one name and leave the other.
I would change Pinnacle Ridge Lane.
Because if you call them
Yeah,
both
that's what I
Pinnacle
would-
Ridge, it gets confusing because Grove Street separates them. And despite what you think, the maps show that the runs north to south is also
Does it?
called Pinnacle Ridge.
You know what I'd
Which
do?
confuses them.
Is the one that goes all right around the outside, make it Pamela Lane. And that Olds is the one in the middle.
That's good. You always have to follow
The loop all the way around the outside is Pamela, because that's where it started, was
We
Pamela.
can just extend the current name.
That was the
That
first
would work.
entrance
Doesn't
coming up
impact
Grove Street on the
everybody.
left.
We'll change Pinnacle Ridge Lane to Pamela and leave Pinnacle
Yeah.
Ridge
Pinnacle Ridge
Road the way
Road,
it is.
because that's across the road going north, east and
Okay,
west.
run this. We're gonna leave Olds.
Yeah.
There, that's the middle street.
That's
the
the upper,
middle one.
upper
You're right.
street.
The whole loop
Okay.
around is gonna be Pamela.
So you go in all the way to the end and then
Right back out to Grove Street.
That makes sense.
That's a continuation.
Okay.
That's just like you did in Countryside.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you want, you're in a position to vote to adopt the, let's see what it's technically called here. The Town of Rutland Road Name and Road Location Addressing Ordinance. And this map with the streets you named would be the official map.
Well, we have to go back and do Parkway if we're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
after Parkway. Then we're all set as far as street names go.
What was Tennybrook Lane?
That's the only one on the board so far.
I'll go with Timberlane.
I like that better than Tenny, because what happens, people call you and they just say Tennybrook. And,
Thinking Route
you know, a
7.
lot of people, they're not necessarily calling from home.
Right.
You know, when they call you, they may be calling from a payphone. When you get into these really long names, you then have something long after them. I mean, you might have just somebody say Tennybrook. Well, you know, I mean, there is confusion with phone calls and stuff. You don't know if it's Tennybrook Market, Tennybrook Court, or, you know, and because the town and the city are so close.
I hadn't thought of, I was thinking from a
Middle
town
road.
perspective, but that's right, dispatcher has to deal with all the Timber Brooks. So, yeah.
Kimberlin Drive.
How about Middle Road?
We have a middle
Timberlane?
road.
Kimberlin Drive.
Yeah, the
Kimberlin
middle one.
Lane,
That's the middle one.
We have
That's as
middle
good
road.
as any.
Huh?
We have middle road. In Clarendon.
That's right, two-way sewer.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, that whole section.
Timberland Drive
That's all right, man.
Fine.
or Timberland Lane
Timberland Drive, I think is it.
Drive.
It's Forest Way, Parkway, and Meadowway. Is there some way you can do that to make it way like all the other two?
Timberway?
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Yeah, they were all way, Meadowway, Parkway, and Forest Way.
What does the way mean?
The way in there, I guess. I just was trying to keep it in with the other, but you're right, it wouldn't sound right. Whatever, what was it?
It's all in a name.
Timber
I'll tell you.
Drive.
Once you get to know it, they're all the
You're
same.
gonna see
Why not
these
just make it Timber
Timberland Drive, all of a
Start
sudden
it up
there's
with
gonna
timber.
be beautiful homes being built up there and
Just, never mind running. How about Timber and just
Timber
shorten up to
Drive?
Timber Drive?
Timber Drive, Timber Lane. I wouldn't go
Timber Lane,
Drive.
yeah, instead of Timber Lane.
Oh, Timber?
Yeah.
Timber Lane.
Timber Lane.
See, now that's what I had down in the tourist.
Bring it back to Shacks.
Okay, everybody got a complete up-to-date listing? How do you wanna
I can get you
proceed?
another one
I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance Joe just specified and
with the streets.
with the street name
I'll
changes that
second that.
we've made.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion other than the last 20 minutes? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. Next item, Joe.
That's,
What about the appointment for the
That's on the
GMSC?
agenda.
Yeah, that'd be under, that's.
Oh, okay.
Dick.
Just one thing. Next Monday night, 7:30, there's a mandatory meeting of 3 select persons. Fire District number 7 is going to add a person,
What's the date on that, Dick?
June 3rd. And in other words, you have to say okay for that meeting, and then they in turn will have their own vote. We don't get involved.
Now, what's this, to add somebody to it?
Yeah, the new chair.
Now, which district is 7?
Countryside.
I'm right here.
I didn't even know they were included in it. I don't think they ever have been, but I think maybe they've had problems, so that's maybe why. That's
So-
Gold Farm, Randall's.
It's real important we get 3.
Yeah, I'm right here, so I'll go. It's down here.
I'll be here.
Possibly be. I would must be that night, but I won't take on.
Oh, that's right. Oh, where's the one?
Yeah, I would must be,
That's
Okay.
at, what time?
7:30. Town Hall.
You gonna send us a notice, or
That you know.
I might be in?
Put this up on the refrigerator.
What's that, June what?
3rd.
3rd, that's my daughter's birthday, and
I can't stress the importance of 3 people because we ran into.
Yeah.
can't
I'll
act.
commit to it with Karen and John for sure. Bill's got another commitment. It's just gonna be a short
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
formality.
You got something for the.
You have something else on it.
I don't know. That's why.
That's all I got.
Okay, moving on down, we did this name change, we signed the easement deed with Mr. Moore. We've been involved with Butterfield Road progress, you got executive session materials to last. Minster wastewater allocation request, the old Grossmans, they're asking for an increase.
180 gallons per day, we have plenty of capacity. I meant to bring it forward at the last meeting, I forgot. I would recommend you approve it.
I'll move that we approve the allocation request for 180 gallons a day sewer for the Mincers.
It'll be a $5 per gallon, won't take the open charge that will be collected on that.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve Minster's request for an allocation increase. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed. The next item, we discussed briefly the RST letter, that's self-explanatory, thanking the town for working with them over the years, the Olympia family. VLCT committee appointments. The next item, Charlie, I think was on that.
It's a standard committee there.
Yeah,
transportation.
Transportation.
Yeah, I move that we leave this, did you want the intro? I move that we leave it around.
Yeah, we meet 2-3 times a year.
Right. Okay, we have a motion to
I'll
appoint
second
Charlie
that.
in a second. Discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Any opposed? Motion's passed. And our annual appointments to the JMSC, SWAC committees. Right now it's Bill, John Paul, Charlie Shields. Those are the 3 individuals that are on there right now.
does
Sure,
JP
John-
wanna stay on?
If JP wants
I haven't heard. My guess is probably.
I move that we leave the same 3 then.
You ever been to a meeting?
I think September.
We have a motion to reappoint the 3 that are presently serving in that capacity. Have a second to that?
Second?
Motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. Last item is the board to consider Moore's Auto Tax Appeal. We have a letter from Attorney Rendell Barlow regarding that. He said that should be discussed in an executive session. Is there a motion to that effect?
Make the motion again to executive session for the tax appeal.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second to that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
And a second. Discussion.
Is that the only one that's gonna be discussed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get that letter.
just that letter goes.
Hearing no other discussion,
do
all
those
those in
short.
favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. We're going to executive
Charlie, hand me
session.
one of them agendas, I didn't have one. I wanted to-
Who's